Okay, so we have Stephanie Corey guest speaking with us tonight. And Stephanie has been a coach for almost 2 years in April. She is a mom. How old's your little girl?
She's 3.
She's 3, and she has one on the way. And she's a part-time teacher. You just do part-time now, part-time
Yep.
teacher. And she's a 1-star qualifying. So she's done a lot in her little 2 years of business. So I am so excited for her to be talking to us tonight. I had the privilege to speak on her call on Monday, and we have very similar, just the way we run our team and just the way our team culture is. And so I'm so excited to learn from her, and I know that she's going to have so many amazing nuggets to share with you guys tonight. So make sure you drop any comments or questions in the chat thread. And Stephanie, I'm going to let you take it away, girlfriend.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you again for coming on Monday. Like literally it was the talk of the rest of the week. It was like, oh my gosh, Kelly was so good. Oh my gosh, Kelly said this. I'm like, I know. So it was great. Yeah, if you guys want to pop any questions in the chat, I'll kind of go over what I'm going to talk about first, and then I will certainly take any questions at the end. So I just don't want to look at the checks, so I get wicked distracted, but I will definitely look at them after. So I'll give you kind of like a quick overview of, I'm going to talk about kind of like my story, how I got started and everything, and how I was saying I was coaching, but I really wasn't coaching. And then talking a little bit about like acting bigger than you really are, and like not hustling, but doing the work. And then finally, like how I balance it all being a working mom. So those are the things I'll kind of cover. If you want something else, please feel free to just, like I said, drop it in the chat. So I signed up in, I would say May of 2016, it was 2016 or 2017. I was like, I need to do something for myself. And we had just had 2 miscarriages. It was like a really low time for me. I was working full time as a special ed teacher. My husband is a police officer, so he has like wicked weird wacky hours. So I was full-time momming, full-time teaching, just had 2 miscarriages, like in the worst spot ever. I had gained a ton of weight for me, and I was just like not healthy. I had no energy, and I was just going through the motions every day. So I was scrolling Instagram like everybody does, and I saw this girl pop up, and I was like, oh wow, she's fit. She has a kid, like she just had a kid, and she looks really happy. Like, what the heck? Why can't I be like that? So I creeped her forever, probably about 3 months, and she reached out to me like 3 or 4 times and was like, hey, you should join me. Hey, you should join me. And I was like, like I'll think about it. Oh, it's the money, like it's too much money, it's this, it's that. I gave her every single excuse in the book. I finally signed up and didn't tell a soul except for my husband, because I was so worried that people were going to be like, oh, you're doing Beachbody? Oh my gosh. So I signed up as a challenger because I was like, I want to make sure I like everything. I was totally on that 30-day money back guarantee. Like, oh yeah, this is not going to work. I'm going to send my Shakeology back. Like I was that girl. And we used the Challenge Tracker app for my first ever boot camp, and I fell in love. Like, I did Country Heat for my first program ever, which if any of you guys have done it, is like, it's so much fun, but you don't realize it, like you're working out. And when I took my before and after pictures, I was like, holy shit, like what? And so I was in shock. So then of course my coach reached out to me and she was like, do you want to coach? And I was like, well, I don't know. Like, I'm not really sure. So then finally I was like, okay, I'll do it. Because school was just out. It was now, I officially signed up to be a coach in July. And I was like, okay, I'll coach for the summer, see where we can do it. So I pushed really, really hard, really hard. My first few months I hit Success Club. My first 2 months as a coach, because warm market. And I finally was like, look, I'm getting these results and all this stuff. And then school kicked back in, and I was doing the things, like, don't get me wrong. I was working out. I was drinking my shake. I was still bettering myself. And I was working the business, but like, I was not inviting. I was not messaging. I was literally just waiting for people to come to me. I'm like, look, I'm posting every day. Look, I'm doing the things. You should come see what I'm doing. And so I wasn't really hitting Success Club. I'd hit it here and there. And that was about it. So that was in July. In April, actually, backtrack, sorry. In November, my husband got a new job an hour and a half away. So now I am full-time teaching, full-time mom, and my husband is like never home. And I'm trying to do this on top of this. And finally we were like, we can't do this anymore. So we put our house for sale and we moved in April. And so in April, I left my teaching job to nothing. That was this past April. And so I might have my years messed up. I'm sorry if I said 27. I don't know what I'm talking about. So that was this past April. And I was like, I need to make this work. Like I need to do something because one, I don't want to go back to work full time. And two, I love this so much that I want to do so much more with it. And so that was in April. I took April to kind of like move, gather everything together. July, I hit Diamond. I was an Emerald coach in April. July, I hit Diamond. Then I was like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe I did this. I hit a lull in August because I was like, heck, I'm Diamond. Like, this is so great. And then I hit a lull. And then I went into one-star qualifying right before, I would say it was like end of November, beginning of December. I have my Diamond on tonight. And then I dropped it. And I was like 3 weeks into my qual. And I was like, no, what are you talking about? I had plenty of girls. And I had like 3 girls drop that week after Christmas. Like everybody's like, I have no money, and they just dropped. And so I was like, well, that's really sucky. Like that sucks. So I had a few weeks of like, why am I doing this? Like, am I going to still do this? Like, am I, and then we found out we were pregnant and with Rainbow Baby, and here he or she comes in July. And I was like, I want to stay home like as much as I can with these babies. Like Charlotte's in preschool now, but I don't want to have to play that like 12-week maternity leave when this baby comes. So I was like, I'm doing this. So back to one-star qual, here we are. But the only thing different that I did was I acted bigger than I was. Like, yeah, I am only a Diamond coach or like one-star qualifying, but like I treat my team and I treat my Instagram of like 10,000 people watching, or like they don't need to know how much money I make or how many girls are on my team or, how many hours I spend on coaching. Nobody needs to know that because guess what? Nobody knows. Yeah, the girls on my team, like they know, but that's it. And if you treat your girls and you treat your team like they are a small team, they're probably going to stay a small team and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want. But if you want something bigger for yourself and you want something bigger for your team, like one, you need to vocalize it. And two, you need to treat it like a team. So I started hosting team calls every single week. I started getting guest speakers on our team calls because I know that everybody learns differently and it's so nice to hear from different people. And literally, Kelly could have probably told you something like 1,000 times. And I'm like telling you the same thing, but you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe Stephanie just said that. Like, why have I never heard that? So literally, I know that that's how people are. And it just blows my mind that, if you want to succeed and you want to act like this, and you want to be a big team or even my main thing is finances. Like, I want to be able to stay home with my baby. I don't care if I'm a 10-star coach. Like, heck yeah, that would be great to get some recognition, but like, that's not my sole purpose. And so when, just going about things, there's so many different ways you can work your business, and it doesn't always have to be about a rank. It has to be about what you want. And one of my friends who is on my team, she, said the other day, it's really a season. Like, what are you working for? Are you working for money? Or are you working for rank? Because they're generally two different things. And there are times when you do have to, I'm working for that 2-star because I know once I get there, that's when you can really start making a lot of the money. So right now I might not be making as much as I'd really hope to be making, but it's because I'm working to the 2-star. And as soon as I hit that 2-star, like, I don't care if I go any higher than that. Like if I can get like it rolling in, that's what I'm really looking for. So I have my diamond and I'm working on my husband and that'll be 2 stars. So here we go. I'm praying by this spring, right? Yeah, spring, 2 stars coming. But just like acting bigger than you are, like you have to treat your business and like everything that what you want to be. Act like an elite team. Nobody knows like what you really are. So I don't want to say that I hustle because I don't like that word. Like I'm not a hustler, and and my husband's giggling in the background. He's like, yeah, whatever, Steph. Of course, when he was like, oh, I'm going to sit right here while you do your call. I'm like, what? You want to what? I will give him a little shout out though, because at the beginning of this, he was, I don't want to say he wasn't supportive, but he was like, do whatever makes you happy, babe. And now like he leaves me like these little notes on my desk and he's like, work hard for success while everyone else is wishing for a miracle, and like just totally supports me. And the one thing that I have done lately, probably within the last 3 months, is tell him like that I want this to work. Like this needs to work. And like the communication, like you need to be open with your spouse, because if not, you'll be tiptoeing around your house. You'll be tiptoeing around your friends. Like you need to tell them that this is not just a hobby for you. Like you need to vocalize that you want this more than that. So anyway, that's just a side note for him because he giggled. But do the work. You're not going to get anywhere. Obviously it showed. I was a coach from July to April. I was doing the things, guys. I was posting. I was working out. I was drinking my shake. I was doing all the things you're supposed to do. But guess what? I wasn't really reaching out to people. I wasn't really like doing anything crazy. I wasn't treating my team like an elite team. I think I had like 3 coaches on my team. And you just got to do the things. That's like the biggest thing that I have done is when I have 10 minutes, I send out invites. When I have time without Charlotte, don't get me wrong, my house totally could use to be clean, and my mom can totally vouch for this. Like she'll come over and be like, your dishes haven't been done in days. And I'm like, do you know what I do during my free time without my kid? And it's true. I pick what's more important at the time. Like, is it more important for me to sit down and get 30 minutes of work in? Yes. Would I say I'm sitting there hustling? No. I'm sitting there working, trying to make this work for my family. Like that is what I'm doing. I love making pretty graphics. I worked on a Canva for last night because it was like my downtime. I sat on the couch with my husband and I was like, oh, I'm going to just work on some pretty graphics right now. And I made like a beautiful Instagram story. I was like, holy shit, I'm capable of this. Hello, that makes you look legit. Like I'm so sorry. I'm swearing and your daughter's right there. Oh my gosh. Like take the time when you have time in bed, or when you're like, I don't want to message people. I don't really want to talk to people, but make those fun things of your business. And so that's what I did last night. And when I was clicking through it, I think I watched it like 7 times. I was like, holy cow, this looks so legit. Like I look like a real person doing this. I mean, like all my girls look at it. I'm like, go look at my Instagram story. But it was so nice because one, you can if you don't use Canva, like that's awesome. You should, because you can reuse it all the time. So I just saved it in my photos, and I'll put it up like once a month or something, but it was awesome. Anyway, here I am getting off track. But like do the things that are going to move your business forward. Like is making pretty graphics going to move my business forward? Probably not. Like, yeah, it looks really pretty, but is it going to move my business forward? No. Reaching out and talking to people, following up, doing all the things. And about, I would say in December, everybody was like, let's move to Streak. Let's do Streak. And I was like, oh, I've been with Team Z for like ever, but I'll do it because that's what everybody else is doing. So here we go. And I did it. And guess what, guys? I lost every single freaking person that I have followed up with because I was doing what was working for me. And everybody was like, move to Streak. And guess what? Streak doesn't work for me. It is so confusing. I can't figure it out. And so I'm back to like a notebook, like literally a notebook. And every single day I write down all the people I send messages to, and the people that message me back, I put a little star next to, and then I follow up with them like in a few days. Is it working perfectly? No, but right now that's what my brain can handle. And we just listened to a call last night from Nicole Jones. She's a 13-star diamond coach. You've probably never even heard of her name because she's not like a big coach. She just taught us this note card challenge or note card system. It is very, very interesting. She's in the Beachbody Champions. Her name is Nicole Jones. So if you want to like check out her system, she did a whole training on it in the Beachbody Champs, but it's really cool. But that's great if it works for you. Like, it might not work for everybody. And what works for Kelly might not work for Jessica. And what works for Jessica might not work for Laura. And that's okay. But you have to stick with what works for you. Because if not, like I probably would have been much further than I am right now. But I stopped following up because I lost all those people in Teensy. So going back again of doing what works for you is I run a virtual gym. I would say for like a really, probably like 6 months. And I run it a lot differently than a boot camp. I do not run month-to-month boot camps. I run a year-long gym. And I just add girls into the community. And that's what I love about it is it's a community. And it's so funny because so many people are like, oh, that's what you're doing? Oh, well, that's not what Beachbody says to do, or oh, this is that, or blah blah blah. And we do things here and there, like we don't use the app, we don't, like, there's just so many things that that's not what I'm looking for. So my tribe of people, that's probably not what they're looking for either. So again, just you need to do what works for you, and that's okay if Kelly is telling you to do, oh, you should do the virtual gym, I love it, this is what I want to do, but you're like, no, I'm more of a boot camp structure kind of girl. Go ahead and do that. Like, that's the beauty of this business is like, no one can tell you how to do this. No one. Because if you look at the top coaches, they're all doing something. They're all doing the vitals, but they're all doing something a little bit different. So that is that. I think I've covered that. Need to take a little sip of drink here. But the last thing I'll talk about is just balancing being a mom. And this is something that like still I'm working on. So obviously I was a full-time working mom. I got up at 5 a.m., 4:30 some days when I was doing 80-day obsession, got my workout in, did a little, like a 30-minute pocket of work, and then we were gone for the whole day. I dropped Charlotte off at 6:30 at daycare, and then we were out the door. I was working full-time. My commute was an hour, and so I would drive to work, do my PD on the way, go to work. I couldn't have my phone. I'm a full-time special ed teacher. And then drive home, PD, pick Charlotte up, do dinner without any help because hubby is at work. And by the time it is now 7:30, 8 o'clock and the dishes are piled up, I have a toddler who is sleeping and all I want to do is cuddle her. So that's when you have to like pick and choose what is important to you right then and there. Like, is it important for me to get up and do the dishes? Probably, but I haven't sent out any messages today, or I'm going to lay in bed. I know that like she's content watching a movie right now. I'm going to go spend 30 minutes doing the dishes. One thing if you don't do when you're cleaning your house is listening to PD. It's like the best thing ever. I will listen to like the national wake up calls when I'm doing the dishes, any of that. I know that Kelly spoke on our team call a little bit about taking a PD break. I think I notice a huge difference when I do take a break from PD, and not in a good way. So I think it is important to listen to PD that speaks to you. So if there's no PD that's speaking to you, don't just pick up a book and read it, or don't just listen to something just because you should be listening to PD. If you need a break, take it. Or if you need something different, do that. Just because everybody's listening to Girl Wash Your Face doesn't mean you have to listen to it. Even though it's the best freaking book that I've ever read, and I probably listened to it 5 times, like, I do recommend it to every single person, and I live by Rachel Hollis, but that might not work for you, and that's okay. So, like, you just need, and literally that's my message to you guys, if anything that you take away is, like, you have to do what works for you. So PD, like, literally whenever you can, because I know that totally picks up my mood. It makes me feel like I can accomplish this business, because there are some days where I wake up and I'm like, oh my goodness gracious. Like today, Thursdays, I know Thursdays are a busy day for me. I work from 8 in the morning until 5 at night. I tutor on Thursdays. It's just a busy day. So I know I'm not going to get a lot of coach work done. So, and I know that going into it. So I schedule my time accordingly. I just got this Rise Up planner, and I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it is awesome. A Beachbody coach made it. Her name is Maria Kachuaba. I'm not really positive. If you have not seen it, it is awesome. You can buy it on Amazon for like $27. It is beautiful. It lays out your months. It makes you lay out like your times of your day. Makes you put, it's like everything all in one. Holy cow, it's amazing. Go check it out. And it definitely makes you think about, you have all these hours in the day, and sometimes we just sit and do nothing. Like while you're sitting and doing nothing, send out a few invites. When you're sitting and doing nothing, like make a pretty graphic. You know, there's things that you can do if you want this business to work. And so like, if you want to stay a little, I don't want to say a little coach, because that's not good. Like, it's not little. Nothing is little about this. Like, you're either growing yourself or doing this. But if all you want to be is a discount coach, or just inspire a few people along the way, like, that is totally fine. But you need to be honest with yourself and your team. Like, you can't be telling Kelly, yeah, I want to be a diamond coach, but you're not doing any of the work, or you're not being honest with yourself, and you're like, yeah, I'm sending out all of these messages, when you're like, yeah, I'm just sitting here scrolling Instagram. Like, you have to be honest with yourself, and it's okay if you do not want to be this big coach. And like, not everybody wants to. And again, that's okay. Like, that's one of the things I tell my girls all the time. Like, I will totally run with you, but I cannot be sitting there in your inbox every day saying, how many messages did you send out? Hey, how's it going today? Hey, what's going on? You told me that you wanted to run this business. Show me. And I'm not saying you have to hit Success Club every month, because guys, I do not hit Success Club every month. Like, I is one thing that I'm not very good at. I make a lot of connections. I talk to a lot of ladies. A lot lately has been more along the miscarriage, mom, infertility lines, just because that's where I'm at. But let me tell you, those conversations that I'm having are so meaningful, and the people that I'm talking to, like, they're genuine conversations. I had a girl, this is just one example, I saw on Instagram, we somehow connected. She had a miscarriage back in July, and she lost her twins at like 16 weeks. And I literally just messaged her and was like, Mama, like, I totally sympathize with you right now. I can only imagine what you're going through. Like, please, if you just need anybody to talk to, just let me know. So the message didn't come back automatically, but a few weeks went by, and she was like, you don't know how much that has meant to me. I've needed somebody so badly. And we genuinely talked. And then she got into watching my stuff and my journey. And literally last month, she was like, I need something to do. I need something to bring me up. And guess what, guys? She joined me. And we're doing this together now. So it's like making those genuine connections and not just messaging people just to message people. So that's kind of the difference. My coach is she's a hustler, and she sits down and cranks out 100 invites, and she just copy paste. And I was just like, that doesn't work for me. And that's where we differ. I've learned a lot from her. And I take some of her things. I'm not going to say that my first message isn't, like, if you're watching my stories, I send you all, like, generally, hey, like, thanks for watching my stories. It means so much. Where are you from? But then after that, like, we chat. Like, it's not a script after that, because not everybody is the same, and not everybody is looking for the same thing. So that is kind of, sorry if I'm like, but I'm kind of like wrapping up all the thoughts in one. But yeah, that's what I have.
Oh my God, so much stuff that you're just like, yes. If you had to, when you were like, especially when you were doing your pockets, because I know a lot of my coaches have kids and they're working, what, if you could give like your number one thing, like if you've got 10 minutes or 15 minutes, where do you see the most fruits of your labor?
So I'll definitely make a post if I haven't made a post. So I normally only post once a day, and then I'm on my stories pretty consistently. I run a lot on Instagram. I don't tend to run a ton on Facebook. I run my groups on Facebook, and once we are connected, we become friends on Facebook, but I have not found the best luck like friending people on Facebook and people being as accepting as like sending me a friend request. I've had a few people that I've friended on Facebook and been like, hey, you know, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, how do I know you? Whereas Instagram, I don't have as much slack. It's like, hey, where are you from? I love connecting with moms from all over. And they're like, oh my gosh, me too. Da, 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 da. And we like start up a conversation right away. So I will generally make a post once a day and then be on my stories. And then when I have that 10 minutes or 30 minutes, or I try and crank out like a few messages, I'll either go to my stories that have the most people watching them, or I'll go to my post from the day before and I'll just message all the people that have liked it or that have watched my story. And it's literally as simple as, thank you so much for like loving on my page. It means so much. Where are you from? And I used to say something along the lines of like, you know, the same exact things. Thanks so much. Like, it means so much. I can't believe what I do as a toddler mom at home has brought me such an income. And then I'm like, boop, salesy. Nope, don't like it. So it's a genuine message. Like, where are you from? I love connecting with people. And then not only that, if they're not from the US, UK, or Canada, you know not to push anything with Beachbody, because why not? Why waste your time, but like, then you don't have to be that awkward, like, let's get all the way through the script and be like, oh, by the way, I'm from Brazil. Great. Well, we can't do anything here. So definitely, like, those are the people that are going to join you, or the people that are interacting with your stuff. So definitely, if you have 10 minutes, like, I don't have 10 minutes standing in the grocery line because I have a toddler staring at me in the face, but some people do. Like, you could send out messages while you're standing in the grocery line, or, you know, there's so many different times. You're 10 minutes early to work, sit and work, go to your last post and go ahead and message people. It's that simple. Like, you just got to do the things that are gonna move your business forward. Like, don't just sit there and watch Kelly's story and Stephanie's story and Cynthia's story. Like, don't just, I mean, it's nice, but that's what I do in bed at night. Like, I catch up on people's stories that I want to watch.
It's so true. And like, I just from being on Stephanie's call Monday and like getting my fire relit this week, I just spent like 10 minutes today taking a break at my desk, and I have not done any hashtag searches in a while. But I was listening to a training, and Jen Richardson, I've heard this training before. She shares this website where you can go and you can put in hashtags, and it will give you exact 30. And she recommends not copying the whole thing, like, find what works for you. But like, you know, I still don't have a handful of hashtags that I should use all the time. I just come up with them on a whim, and that itself could save me, you know, a few seconds every post. Like, it's just simple stuff. And I gained like 40 followers today simply, and I haven't had a chance to go back and see, like, you know, some of them could be coaches or whatever, but it just shows you that little bit of intentional time of me connecting with some people on Instagram had an outcome. And it was just like, I know for me, that has been my biggest place that I'm missing. Like, you know, we show up in the challenge group. All of you guys are so great of showing up in the challenge groups. We're so great of showing up on social media. We've got our posts down. We've got our call to actions down. But then we forget that we constantly have to have those people coming into the top of the funnel, because if you don't, that's great that you're constantly connecting with that cold market that's now your warm market. But if you don't ever keep bringing the cold market people in, so you can start developing those relationships. And when you said that, Stephanie, we've talked about that so many times as a team. We don't cold message at all. We're not a cold messaging team. And we're all about the slow and steady growth. And I think even slow and steady growth, you can forget about the growth part, and you're just like, oh, I'm just taking this slow. It's okay. And you're like, shit, when's the last time I actually like watered anything I've planted? Like, you know, you're just like, you're staying here. And I know I'm guilty of it too, because you spend those 10-minute pockets watching somebody's stories or looking on Pinterest when you're like, I could have just gotten some substantial work done in you know, a short amount of time.
Yeah. And that's the thing that I've really cracked down on a lot lately is when I sit down to work, I would sit down, I'd check my team page, I'd check this, I'd do that, I'd watch a few stories, and then I'm like, crap, there goes my 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. So lately what I've been doing is I sit down and I see how many messages. I set myself like a timer. I'll say, all right, here's 20 minutes, you can send out invites. And I will sit down and I will write down how many, like the usernames of the people I've sent messages to. And Instagram's been wonky lately. So when you go into your stories, I, for some reason, can't just hit like their page and then message and then go back to my story, like the list I was on, it's making me go all the way back. Anyway, it's an extra step. And you can just hit message right on the thing, but I like to see, did we have a conversation before? How long ago? Because if I do send people messages, like if you're watching my stuff and you're liking my stuff, I don't care if I've sent you 3 messages and you still haven't responded, I'm going to send you another one. So either you can stop following me or you can answer my dang message. Like that is like the biggest thing is don't watch my stuff. Don't like and comment on my stuff if you're not going to talk to me, because you're not adding value to my life. You know, it kind of stinks, and I hate to be that person, but I'm like, come on. So I'll just keep messaging them. And it's something along the same lines. I try to change it up, but I do like to make sure, like, I just had a girl the other day or today, right before this call, I was like sending out some messages and I was like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot to follow up with this girl, but she's still watching my stuff. So I messaged her and I was just like, hey, did you get a chance to check out that stuff? Or, you know, anything. Like, thanks for the at the beginning of the new year. Anybody who was still liking my stuff and watching my stuff, but we have, like, they've never made a Beachbody purchase, I just said, thank you so much for the continual love. I totally appreciate you watching my journey. I'm so glad that I inspire you in some shape or form. What would you like to see more of? Is there anything, you know, that I'm doing that you want to see? Or, you know, and not, I would say none of them landed on, you know, joining me, but at least I'm keeping that contact. And once they trust you enough to say, oh, she's not just going to ask me to buy something every single time, they tend to trust you. One of the coaches I really love watching is Sammy Glonick. She's one of the top coaches. I think she's number 13 in the company. And she posts a lot about coaching on her Instagram stories. And she said that she has flat out asked, how long have you been following me before you joined me? And so many of them are 3 months to 2.5 years. So people are watching you. They're thinking about it. They're waiting for you to, like, message you during that time or do things like this. Like, I know people are thinking about it because they won't comment on that poll. They won't hit yes or no. But if you message them and talk to them and say, oh, what are your goals? Oh, you know, do you work out too? Oh, no, but I really need to start. I've been seeing all your stuff. It looks great. I just can't commit. Okay, why can't you commit? Like, then you talk to them through and it leads you to that. So it's definitely like people are watching you. So you just need to make sure that you are acting bigger than you are. You have all of these people. I love doing like a virtual gym sign up. I'll do like 1 through 10. The spots are filling up. And even if I don't have people signing up, you better bet your butt I'm putting people's names in there. So it looks like that people are signing up, because nobody has to know that they're not. And let me tell you, when it gets down to like 4 spots left, people are like, oh my gosh, I want in. Oh my gosh, I need this. So it's like, it's not that I'm not, I guess I'm lying in a way, but I'm really not, because I have girls consistently buying Shakeology every month. Like, that's a new order to me. They're joining, they're doing another month of this. Like, it's working for them. So that's something that's really worked for me. And that's one of the biggest things, is keeping your girls and your customers on Shakeology. Like, you want this, obviously changed your life. And this is like one of the biggest things that I'll say is the people and coaches that get the most out of this are the people that did not start this for a financial reason. They are the people that started this because they needed a change in their life and they saw it and they believe in it and they believe in these products and they believe in the workouts, and they have genuinely changed their lives. And like, I say that to people all the time. Sorry, my daughter's joking. Is that I know how silly this sounds, but this has literally changed my life. And first it was physical, then it was mental, and now it's financial. Like, it has changed all of those things. And those are the people that really this is going to impact, because they can see it. They know it works. So definitely, if you have not found that, you need to find it. What part of this has worked for you? Is it the workouts? Is it the shakes? Is it the Energize? Is it the community? Like, it doesn't have to be all of that. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of working out, and especially now being pregnant, like, I don't work out consistently, but let me tell you, this community is amazing. And I Like, it's awesome. Like having a community of girls to talk with all the time and say, this is what I'm struggling with, or this is that. Like even just connecting with other Beachbody coaches that have been through similar things. It's so nice. And like, it's so refreshing to hear coaches like Kelly. We literally connected and here I am. I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I've known this girl forever. Can we be best friends? It's like, we wouldn't have ever had this opportunity if it wasn't for this Beachbody that brought us.
Stephanie, I agree with everything you say, but she is taken. She has a best friend. Please don't ever ask her again.
Oh my goodness, that is too funny.
All right, I'm glad.
I promise I won't take her from you.
I'm just kidding.
No one said we can't have threesomes.
Laura Ogle is somewhere in Iraq gonna watch a recording and be like, excuse me.
Seriously, fast forward through and they stop at that.
Stephanie's picking up on our team vibes already. She's like, you guys are fun.
Oh goodness.
It would be a threesome because I'd be like, oh, that's cute. All right, bye.
Oh my goodness.
You know, I feel like I've heard a repetitive statement all week, and it's like what you share is what you're going to grow on. So like, sometimes we get so stuck just talking about the challenge groups, the challenge. And you're like, why am I not recruiting any coaches? Because you don't talk about it, you know? And we know those crazy algorithms, we know, and Stephanie, it's so true how many people watch us and how we would love for people to just respond to those Instagram polls and fill up our challenge groups every month and help us reach our goals. But they're too scared. They have the same fears that we still have, the same struggles that we still share in our challenge groups every day. They still have it. But to think about you, and like Cynthia was just saying that one of their coaches was somewhere and recognized her on Instagram. Like, how cool would someone feel if you, big Stephanie Beachbody coach, messaged them and was like, hey, and they're like, oh my God, he like wants to talk to me. Like, guys, you know, we have this platform for a reason, you know, like utilize it. Who cares if you only have I only have like 600 Instagram followers. I have very, very slow Instagram growth. But you know what? I show up every day as if I have that swipe up feature. I'm going to fake it till I make it because I feel like I have that many people watching me every day.
You aren't faking it until you're making it. You are being it till it is you, right?
Oh,
You're not faking it because that's who, like, you sit with that feeling and you decide what that's going to feel like when you are there, and then you're coming from that place. So it's really not fake.
Yeah, I 100%. I love that so much. And you have to find that spot that you need to work on. Like, so often we try to fix everything at one time. Like, let me master my challenge group, and let me master my social media, and let me go create a new training for new coaches when I have them come on, and let me go make this PDF. Like, you're just like trying to do it all when you're like, what brings me the most joy right now today that I can go do, you know?
And it's like seasons, like when your seasons of coaching, like sometimes you're wanting to build your leaders, and other days you're like, I just want to build myself. And other days you're like, I just need to get my workout in and drink my shake. Like, it is literally seasons of your coaching career. And as long as it's benefiting you, then that should really not only be what matters, but like, that is the biggest thing, I think. So does anybody have any questions?
So sorry, my kid sat down and she's like, I don't have any toilet paper. I'm like, why didn't you analyze that before you took a poop? Like, sorry. Yeah, mom problems. Awesome. Okay. Well, do you guys have any questions for Stephanie? And I hope that this inspires you guys to see that Stephanie is a normal gal like all of us. You know, she's a mom, she's working. I think it's amazing. I hear that I want to be like, Stephanie, shout yourself out more. She's like, oh, I'm like, you've only been a coach 2 years and you're 1-star qualifying. That's freaking amazing. And she just reminded me just a little bit of chatting we were doing today on the way home from work that I've just got to put the work in. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated. I don't have to sit down and do hours of PD. It just needs to be 10 minutes a year. Start with what you can. Don't overwhelm yourself. And let's crush our goals together, because we all know that we can do it. We can all know we can dream it and believe it. And yeah, like let's do the damn thing, because
Let's do it.
let's do it. Let's do it. And I would love to do this more with your team. You know, maybe we could just get on and combine calls sometimes, and just, even like, as much as I don't like the word power hour, we could even just like play some music and like jam out some work together, just to have like change things up, like keep it fun. We're all about the fun and the energy. And I know as leaders, sometimes we run out of things to talk about. We're like, okay, we've talked about this before, we've talked about this before. So let's make this fun and exciting. We know we love this business. We know that we love doing what we're doing. And it's when we get kind of stagnant and it gets kind of not fun, is when we start to doubt ourselves that we can even do this, or do we want to do it? And then all of that like gross fear creeps back in. And you know damn well that you all can achieve anything you want to achieve. And I'm just so glad that Steffi and I were able to connect. And now we have this. What is the name of your team?
Our team name is Sparkle Sweat Shine.
So cute. Sparkle, Sweat, Shine. We are Dynamic Force, and Laura can tell you why we're Dynamic Force.
So the dynamic force it's actually a physics term. We just kind of Googled the word dynamic, and it was like, oh, dynamic force. Well, here's why. Because the definition of dynamic force is the amount of energy it takes to get something static into motion.
Oh, I like that. I've always, so our bigger team name, like my coach's name is Flex Force. And so I've always been like, oh, I need something more like boom, right? Like right there, like dynamic force, like Flex Force. And the first like foofy name I came up with was like Sparkle Sweat Shine. And I was like, oh my gosh, I absolutely hate this. And I've actually contemplated changing it because I hated it so much. And one day, one of my best friends bought Charlotte a shirt and it said Sparkle, Sweat, Repeat. And I was like, oh my gosh, it needs to stay. And so as much as I'm like, this is not the team name I've always wanted, it's staying, because I just feel like it's meant to be. And it's not that it's like sparkle, sweat, like shine, like you truly have to like be who you are. So like sparkle, and like we're sweating it out, like do your work, then you can shine, like be who you are. So I definitely have like a hard time with my team name, because like your team name is freaking cool and mine's over here like do. And that's not me. Like I'm not a frilly, like sparkly person. So for me to like my team name like this, I was, even my husband was like, you need to think of a better. And I was like, what am I going to name my team? So he was not helpful. I told him Squat Squad, but he's like, that sounds like you're all taking poops. So anyway, I was like, oh, I guess we'll just stay this for now.
That's hilarious. That's so funny.
Cool.
All right, ladies. Well, if you guys don't have any questions, we will. Do you have any questions, Sophia?
Charlotte, do you want to come say hi real quick? No.
No.
She's watching Frozen. We've just introduced her, so she's very, very excited.
Oh, welcome to that world.
Oh, thanks. Oh, goodness.
Thank you so much.
What's your address? I could send you the sing-along, Mike.
Oh, you know, I think we're good. We actually went to Disney on Ice about a month ago, and we got so many fun things. Oh my gosh, it was craziness.